Yo, yo, yo. What's up, everyone? College football week 5. Get a little standings recap. Starting to get into the thick of things.
I'm still
Ryan,
really
you need to be the most confident man on this show. I mean, you're almost at plus 10 units through 4 weeks. But Ryan is in first place, 30 and 20, plus 9.44 units. I am in second place, 30 and 26, plus 5.37 units. Nagy is in third, 18 and 18, minus 2.16 units. Zach is in fourth, 21 and 25, minus 5.8 units. Me, Nagy, Ryan are all 3 and 1 under our DODs. Zach is 2 and 2 with a 2-game losing streak. So Zach needs a win this week. He is currently – I think you're more of a vegetarian, which I thought is what vegan is anyway. So, like, I'm not going to argue with it because I don't know what a vegan truly is. But someone texted me and was like, you know, a vegan is this. And I was like, that makes no fucking sense. I don't know what a vegan is. So we'll just say you're a vegan, though. Zach's a vegan for this week and because of the NFL. And then Nagy just tweeted having the name Matt Nagy is taking a huge toll on my mental health while reading and hearing all the criticism and hate for the one that coaches the Bears. Well, that sucks for also being a guy who likes having the same last name as coach of the Bears. All right, let's get into it. Week 5, big week. Irish win. Kill Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin fucking sucks, but, you know, big win for them. Clemson fucking sucks. Let's get into that. That'll be our first topic. Clemson is so bad this year. And I don't know if you saw, like, Dan Orlovsky tweeted, he says that their offensive coordinator and their scheme is so bad and Trevor Lawrence made up for it. Didn't DJ, look, really good in 2 games that he played last year? And then also, didn't Deshaun Watson play in the same offense? So, as a scheme
Jeff Scott was the OC 2 years ago. He wasn't the OC last year.
But it's been the same scheme since Dabo's been there. It's like Urban's offense. It's the same scheme, no matter who's the offense coordinator.
Yeah, I truthfully don't know. I have no clue.
I don't know either. I just know that you're not very good right now.
They suck. I mean, NC State's not good. So, like, that's not like them losing to a good team. Like, Georgia's good. And it's insane because if Clemson plays the Georgia game each week, like, they probably win each game by 3 touchdowns. But, like, after losing that game, it was, like, panic settled in. But now they fucking suck. And they're playing in the ACC, which is horrendous. Such a bad conference. And they might still lose 3 to 4 games.
Well, it's weird because, like, their first drive of the game, they scored with ease, and then they didn't score again until, like, either the third or fourth quarter.
And the first drive
that makes no sense.
The first drive of overtime, they scored in, like, 3 plays, and you're like, oh, okay, they're going to win in overtime. And then their defense, which has been the key all year, couldn't stop NC State in overtime, like, at all. NC State scored in, like, 4 plays on both drives, and their offense couldn't score in the second one.
Also, the play call on 4th and 5 was just horrendous. They just threw it deep to Justin Ross, and it was just like, what are you doing?
He should have caught it, but, yeah, it was, like, pretty bad play calling. I don't know. It seems like DJ's kind of disappointing, but their offensive line sucks. But, like, you would think their receivers would be playing better. Now, I haven't really watched Clemson, like, that much, but, like, they do have some good receivers. Like, it's not like these guys have never played.
I want to say almost probably every starting receiver is probably a former high 4-star or low 5-star.
Yeah, they still recruit well.
Have played in at least 5 games of college football. Like,
Justin Ross would have went pro last year if he didn't break his neck.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they have good weapons. Yeah. Like, I don't understand what it is. I will say I did watch a few plays where, like, you could tell. One, I saw a few plays where it looked like NC State's DBs knew exactly what was going to come, and, like, they were just right on top of them. And 2, there was a few plays that, like, Justin Ross would have his guy beat, and DJ would just throw the ball into the ground. So I don't know what's up with him because, like,
he looked so good last those games that he played in.
And he played against Notre Dame, they got beat by Bama. Yeah, like, regardless, they were a top 5 team last year. So, like, he played against one of the best teams in the country last year.
I think he also, his first ever career start in college was on the road at Boston College. And they did
Last
win
year?
the game.
I was at home.
Was it at home?
Yeah.
Because they played BC, I think, this weekend, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they do play BC this weekend.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's interesting. I actually kind of love it, though, because I, like, fucking think Dabo's the biggest douchebag in the world. I don't know if you guys saw this year, but, like, now he, like, sprints in front of the team on the little run. It's so weird. Anything else on that?
Oh, they suck.
I think the ACC has officially played themselves out of the playoffs.
Like, we knew that, like, week one, but.
Yeah, well, there's still the chance, but now that chance is over.
Yeah, which actually is, like, kind of good, though, because, like, this Clemson team would get murdered by, like, any top 10 team. So, like, Notre Dame would beat them. Like, most schools would beat Clemson this year. So, it's a good thing that they couldn't just run through, like, the horrible ACC and get in and then get murdered. But shout out to Wake Forest, dude. Wake Forest is actually decent. They deserve some credit.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I mean, ACC is bad. But BC is competitive. I think their coach is a good coach. I think he's going to – like, since he left Ohio State's defense has been garbage. So, like, he's obviously a good coach. I think –
back.
What's up?
You got an NFL quarterback.
Yeah, isn't he hurt, though?
Oh, is Jerkovich hurt now?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought he was hurt. I think that's, like, the main reason why the Clemson line is the Clemson line. But, all right, moving on. So, Texas, absolutely murdered Texas Tech Saturday. Their offense looked insane. And Texas went on the road, lost to Arkansas. They got beat by double digits, but, like, that Arkansas loss is now looking, like, not bad whatsoever. I mean, a good loss. Arkansas could still get killed by Georgia, and it's still a good loss in my opinion because Georgia's a top 4 team in my opinion. But is Texas the best team in the Big 12? Iowa State stinks. Baylor might be all right, might be one of the better teams, and Oklahoma's not good. So what do you guys think? Do you think Texas is the best team? You think Oklahoma still has to get beat for them to be proven not to be the best team?
I think
– Go ahead, Zach.
I think Texas is the best team. But what I find is so wild is Oklahoma is actually staying in games now to win because of their defense. Like, usually it's always their offense is gonna beat you. Now they're staying in these games because their defense is making stops and giving their offense a chance, which is a complete just like role reversal of the last, like, I don't know how many years of Oklahoma football.
Yeah, I don't really think it's close, to be honest with you. I think it's definitely Texas. And the Arkansas loss looks really good. And I'm just not impressed with Oklahoma. You shouldn't need to rely on your defense to beat Nebraska. I'm sorry. But Virginia's not good either. I just don't – I mean, I think Oklahoma, even though they're undefeated, they're in the same boat as Clemson. As if they went to the playoffs, they'd get boat raced by pretty much anyone. So,
yeah, I agree, but I think Oklahoma's better than Clemson by, like, a large margin. I think Clemson is that bad this year. Like, they almost lost to Georgia Tech, and Georgia Tech is horrendous. But I do think, like Oklahoma, who knows? It was kind of wild that they were chanting the backup quarterback's name. Like, I know Spencer Rattler hasn't been playing the best, but it is still kind of crazy. They're undefeated. But I don't think Oklahoma is as good as they were last year. Now, who knows if that means they'll win the Big 12 or not. But I think you got to give credit to teams like – did Oklahoma State beat Kansas State? Wow. They beat Kansas State, right?
yes, I think.
Yeah, so Oklahoma State and Baylor, I think, deserve some credit, though. I mean, Texas I would probably put there, but, like, I think the Big 12 is pretty wide open right now between those 4 teams. And Iowa State stinks. Like, talk about a guy who should have took a huge job last year. Matt Campbell is just going down charts now. He's obviously still a good coach, but, like, they returned, like, every big-name piece to their team, and they look horrendous this year. So
that's weird.
It is very weird. And so, I don't know. Like, I think Baylor's pretty good. I think Baylor has a good coach. And then Oklahoma State, they always seem to make some noise, like, the years that everyone counts them out, and Mike Gundy finds a way to get them back in the conversation. And then I don't know. Oklahoma still has like the pedigree and still has players that have played in playoffs and all that kind of thing. And they still have Lincoln Riley, who's a good coach. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. I think the Big 12 will actually be super interesting moving forward. Any last words on that?
I'm trying to look up Oklahoma State, and they have Oklahoma at home on what is that? The Thanksgiving weekend. So
yeah, I think Oklahoma State does have like a very favorable schedule. So
they do go to Texas in a couple weeks.
They do. So they got K-State at home, and then they have Oklahoma at home. Like K-State's probably one of the better upper half teams in the Big 12. So the Big 12 race, I think, is what's up.
They Baylor this weekend too at home.
At home. Okay, there you go. So that is a favorable schedule other than going to Texas. But I do think Texas is – Sarkisian has them playing well, which Ryan was not a fan of, but me and Zach thought that would happen.
He's got that offense going.
Yes, me and Zach thought that would happen. Ryan did not. But
yeah,
who knows? Who knows? They can still blow it. Like, it is Texas. They've done this before where they've looked good through 5 games and go 6-6. But right now they are playing good football. And I think, like I said, the Arkansas playing how Arkansas is playing, like, makes it look like, okay, maybe Texas is pretty good. I think the SEC is so far ahead of everyone else this year. But I don't know. Big Ten. I want to ask this question. Do you think Penn State and Iowa are both legit? Do you think one's legit? Do you think neither's legit?
I would say Iowa
Penn State
is more legit.
What do you? One of you speak, please.
I would say Iowa's more legit
Than Penn State.
Yes.
Ryan.
Because what's going to help them when going into like the first college football playoff rankings, the rankings always take what teams are ranked when they played them. So they played a ranked IU team and a ranked Iowa State team and beat them both pretty handily. Meanwhile, Penn State also, I guess you could count their Auburn one, is pretty nice too. And Wisconsin. Yeah, they have Wisconsin too.
Wisconsin was number 10 when they played them.
Yeah, I guess we'll show this week because I know Penn State plays IU, but I think Iowa's the better team right now. I think Penn State and Iowa do play in a couple weeks though too.
Yeah, I think they do play. Ryan, you say Iowa too?
Yeah, I just don't know. I don't really know how good Penn State still is yet, and
but
the Wisconsin game isn't looking as impressive as it did 3 weeks ago. In the Auburn one, I don't know. We don't know how good Auburn is either because they really struggled against Georgia State. Bo Nix, I don't even know what he is at this point.
He sucks. He sucks. That's what he is.
But I'm not saying that Penn State isn't a playoff caliber team. I just like Iowa more at this stage.
I think neither are, but to your point, like, who has Iowa beaten that hasn't been proven to not be a good win, right? Like, Iowa State stinks. IU stinks. Yeah. So, like, both teams have good wins, but, like, neither of them are really good wins. Like, now, looking at it right now.
Yeah, and we'll find out next week because guess who plays each other? Penn State and Iowa.
For sure. Wait, Zach, did you say it's at Iowa or at Penn State? At Iowa. Yeah, so that'll be a big thing. I think since their big wins, Penn State has looked better. Like, Penn State has controlled their games completely, where Colorado State is top 5 worst teams in college football probably, and Iowa was losing to them in, like, the fourth quarter. So who knows? But, yeah, like you said, they'll play this upcoming week. And then you got Ohio State, who's just kind of, like, sitting there like everyone forgot about them because they lost to Oregon. Like, Oregon's a fucking legit team. And then is Ohio State as good as they have been lately? No. But could they beat every team in the Big Ten? Do either of you think they couldn't? Because I definitely think they could easily beat any team in the Big Ten.
They can, but I think they can also lose to a lot of teams.
The Big Ten is interesting now because you got Iowa, you got Penn State, you got Michigan State, you got Michigan, you got Ohio State.
Yeah, but like none of those teams you would like confidently say, yeah, I see them beating everyone. Like
no, they could all beat each other.
I could see Penn State beating Iowa and then turning around losing to Ohio State, then Ohio State losing to like Michigan State, and then Michigan State losing to like everyone other than Ohio State. So it's like I don't think any of those teams are that great. I think I do think Iowa, Penn State, and Ohio State are all top 12 teams, maybe top 15 teams. Michigan State, I think, is very overrated and hasn't played anyone. I think that was proven. Like, I think Miami's just bad, and everyone kind of gave them some. I do think Nebraska's playing better, though. So, like, that win is, I think, a better win than maybe someone gives it credit for. But I think the Big Ten might play themselves out of the playoffs this year, which kind of sucks for them, but I just think they might. All right, moving on. Let's get into games. Let's talk first game. Since it's at noon, we're going to talk A&M, Arkansas. Arkansas coming off – or A&M, Arkansas.
Georgia.
Arkansas going to Athens. So, Georgia, greatest college town in the country. What do you guys think? Georgia's obviously favored by – last I saw it was 18.5. Arkansas comes in after a big win against A&M, which it was almost one of those like too easy to bet because everyone kind of was on the Arkansas train, but it was never a doubt that they were going to win that game. But Ryan, what do you think about this game?
It's kind of weird. I think that line is way too high.
It's a lot.
Because the Arkansas game was – I thought their winning in Texas A&M was even more impressive because I thought it was at Arkansas. I didn't know it was in Dallas. And when I saw they won on a neutral field, I liked that even more. And looking at Georgia, how impressive is that Clemson win now? I don't know. I know their defense is really good, but they beat the daylights out of Vanderbilt. But I think Arkansas is a good team, and I think 18.5 points is just too much.
Zach?
It's all going to depend if Arkansas's quarterback plays or not. That's what's going to come down to. That's why that line – he's out right now. He's probable. That's why that line is so big. They don't know if he's going to play or not. If he plays, I think they definitely – I don't think they win, but they cover that spread. But if he's out, I can see Georgia housing them.
Yeah, it's – did he get hurt against A&M or what?
Yes. He did not play like majority of the second half, I want to say.
I mean, Arkansas really runs the ball, though. That's like their main thing. I mean, it definitely would make a difference, but like the way Arkansas plays, I think they could – I don't know if they're going to win. I just think 19 is a lot of points regardless. But I also don't think A&M's that good. I don't know. I don't really know who's good in college football right now. Like, this is a really weird year in college football, I think.
It is.
So, like, you know, we can sit here and continue to say, I don't think this team's good or this team's good. Like, someone's got to be good at some point. So, I don't know. I don't think A&M's that good, but, like, I do think Arkansas is a very scrappy team. I think this being at Georgia is huge. Is Georgia's offense finally clicking? Maybe, but I would probably lean Arkansas on the points just because that is a shit ton of points. That's 3 touchdowns they got to win by. But I hope it's just a good game. I hope it's not like Arkansas comes out and just gets murdered because, I don't know, you want to see a good game too.
I think we need to give some respect. I think Sam Pittman is the leading candidate for Coach of the Year.
Easily. Easily.
I was looking at their schedule last year. They had a lot of close losses. Like
they did. They did.
They finished 3-7, but they easily could have been 5-5, 7-3. And this year, is in his second year, he's actually got them obviously winning games and being a legit team in the SEC. So, yeah,
but that's my point. Is they're scrappy. Like they play hard and they play well and they run the ball well. So like I could see them getting beat by 14 points, but like they still cover. So I'm with you on that one. Moving on, next game, we're gonna go Cincinnati going to the Irish. Cincinnati are the favorites. Notre Dame coming off that Wisconsin win. What do you guys think? Don't go all Kirk Herbstreit on us, Ryan.
Right. Go ahead, Zach.
I don't know. It's all going to depend on the O-line and how it looks again, just because what really kills them is like Jack Cohen literally cannot escape pressure at all.
Or just run in general.
Yeah, so if they're getting like pressure on the quarterback, you have to put in someone that's mobile, and it's got to be Buckner. I don't care what anybody says. Don't get me wrong, the kid played well against Wisconsin, but there's no reason why Drew Pine should play over Buckner if Buckner's healthy. I don't care what anybody says.
That's a strong disagree on that take.
I don't think Drew Pine is very good.
I mean, he's looked just as good as Ty Buckner as in their games played, and Drew Pine played in a lot tougher situation.
I'd so rather play Buckner over Pine.
I don't know about that one. Ryan, what's your thoughts on this game, though?
It's just hard. It's just hard for me to wrap my mind. It's hard for me to wrap my mind around the fact that Notre Dame, an undefeated Notre Dame team, ranked in the top 10, is an underdog against a non-Power 5 team. Now Cincinnati's a good team. Don't get me wrong, but they struggled against IU. I don't think IU's a good team. Their quarterback stinks. IU's quarterback stinks. Desmond Ritter's a good quarterback.
Take that, Nagy.
But it essentially it took Cincinnati a highly questionable targeting call on what should have been a punt down 14-0. And I think Notre Dame's defense is legit. I really do.
It also took IU had 2 turnovers inside the red zone and still there's a lot of plays that if they go the other way, IU easily wins that game probably. So I'm with you on that.
So I think Notre Dame will be favored by Saturday, but
I agree with that for sure.
I don't really understand the line.
In terms of money line, it opened at like plus 120. It's already down to plus 100. So I agree with you there. Yeah, the only problem is I think a lot of Notre Dame fans agree with this take is Notre Dame's worse if Jack Cohen starts. So if Jack Cohen starts, it's a problem for Notre Dame because then their offense might get off to a slow start. And I think their defense each week is only getting better. Now Cincinnati's offense is way better than Wisconsin. Graham Mertz might be the worst quarterback in college football. So you got that. But now Wisconsin's front 7 is going to be way better than Cincinnati's front 7, in my opinion. So maybe their offensive line can do a little bit better things.
And Wisconsin's offensive line is way better than Cincinnati's, and Notre Dame.
I don't know about that.
Wisconsin's lunch in the trenches.
I don't know about that. Wisconsin's like Notre Dame this year. They have their worst offensive line in the last 12 years. So they're starting freshmen and stuff for the first time. I would say they're pretty similar, but.
Is this a Cincinnati revenge game?
Cincinnati revenge game.
Storylines.
This is Cincinnati's national championship game too, though. They win this game, they're going.
They probably win outright and they make the playoff.
Yeah, they're going to the playoffs. So this is a huge game for them. And then even if Notre Dame, obviously they're undefeated, ranked number 9 right now. They win this game. Cincinnati still probably goes 11-1. This is a huge win for Notre Dame. So this writes everything. But like I said, I don't know. If Jack Cohen starts, I understand why the line's like that. Notre Dame is a worse football team with Jack Cohen playing quarterback. It showed against Toledo when Buckner was in the game, and it showed against Wisconsin when Drew Pine came in. Drew Pine's one bad play was a left tackle not knowing how to block anybody and then getting murdered, and then the guy literally walked after the football. So I don't think you can
Drew Pine looked pretty good, to be honest.
He did look good. And Ty Buckner's, when he's played, looked good too. So, Cohen.
I think the reason why Tyler Buckner has been the first off the bench in the first – I mean, we all know what happened. He had a hamstring against Purdue, but he didn't play in the second half. But I think the only reason that Tyler Buckner is coming off the bench and not Drew Pine is that they're using Tyler Buckner to open up the running game to kind of spread out the defense and make them respect – the running game.
Did not know Drew Pine was that athletic when he first went in.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
He's not a statue.
He's so tiny back there.
He's Ian Book. Let's be honest. He's in.
Okay, Ty Buckner's not that much bigger than him.
Ian Book.
Ty Buckner's not that much bigger than him. 6'1". He's a little bigger, but he's not that much bigger.
Drew Pine is 5'9".
Wait, who's 6'1"?
Buckner.
In what world?
I don't know. I haven't stood next to him.
I have, and he is 5'10", 5'11". Drew Pine is 5'8", 5'9".
Yeah, Drew Pine is
Yeah, they are both small as shit. They said when Ty Buckner went to the Elite 11, everyone was like, wait, this is a lie on what you put as your height and weight and everything because you are tiny. But I I do think his hamstring played a difference, though. Like, if he has a hamstring injury, like,
he would have played over Drew Pine if he was healthy.
I agree with that. I think he would have.
disagree.
Why
would you play Ty
My thing is,
Buckner
why
off
would he play every other game as the true
Yeah.
backup? And
I
then
agree.
you wouldn't throw him in against the game against Wisconsin if
Because
he's
look what he's been doing when he goes in. He runs the ball. He runs the RPO.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
but
why
that's
didn't they?
also
But why?
like- I mean, it's not like-
Wait. They put him in every other game. Why wouldn't they put him in that game to run the ball when they're getting sacked every other play? Then
No, I'm saying he would have. Yes. Okay, hold on. Time out.
he didn't get put in until the fourth quarter.
Wait, what?
Drew Pine didn't go into the late third quarter.
Yes, I know.
So what I'm saying is, if they put Ty Buckner in to open up the field, why didn't they put Ty Buckner in the entire first half when Jack Cohen was getting sacked every other play because he can't run because he was hurt? That's why.
Yes, we're not.
So that's why they put Drew Pine in, because Ty Buckner is hurt. So regardless of who they thought they would put in, Ty Buckner wasn't playing that game no matter what.
I think he was not even going to go in that game no matter what. He was injured. He was
That's
only
what I'm
dressed
saying.
Pine got hurt.
That's what I'm saying. He wasn't going to play regardless. But I'll go back to my last thing. If Jack Cohen plays a full fucking football game, I don't know if Notre Dame can beat Cincinnati just because I think he is that bad. He literally makes their offense worse. And I don't know what it is, but Tommy Rees seemed to open up the playbook more when Drew Pine was in, which makes zero sense, but he did. And they were like throwing it was like, wow, this is a completely different offense. Like, he's throwing these screen passes well. He's doing this well. And if a bummed ankle Jack Cohen is slower than my dead grandpa, so like it's even going to be a worse offense. So don't play him. Don't play him. I hate Jack Cohen. He's like my least favorite college football player ever, honestly. I can't stand him.
Saturday at 2:30.
Before Jack Cohen got hurt, that was like the worst Power 5 quarterback duel by two guys who were like highly recruited I've ever seen in my life. Like, it was just like who could play worse. But I do think the big thing is Notre Dame's defense is starting to click, which is huge because they're good. They got ball players. But moving on, next game, Lane Kiffin is playing his former head coach, Nick Saban, Ole Miss, Alabama, big game. You guys think Lane Train can pull off the upset? You know, he's talking and talking and talking and talking and talking. Matt Corral said something like, we're not too worried about Bama, all that bullshit, doing everything you don't do pre-Bama week. But what do you guys think?
Where is it? Is it at Ole Miss or at Bama?
No, Tuscaloosa.
Bama.
Tuscaloosa. I mean, right now Matt Corral is the Heisman favorite. I mean, it's going to take a Heisman performance to beat Alabama. I think the spread is like 16.5 points right now, isn't it?
It is at 14.5.
14.
I was going to say, I think, yeah.
I mean, 2 touchdowns. I mean, if they're saying Matt Corral is the Heisman favorite right now, I think Ole Miss would cover this game. I still think Bama is going to win, though. Matt Corral, though, has looked very good.
Matt Corral is the Heisman favorite, but it's interesting because Bryce Young, this is kind of no one's played, Sam Howell hasn't played how he's supposed to, so he's almost counted himself out of the Heisman. Spencer Rattler hasn't either. I know there's a long season ahead, but Bryce Young and Ole Miss's quarterback are probably 1-2 right now going into this game.
No, yeah, it's a terrible year for college quarterbacks.
Who do you like, Ryan?
I like Alabama, but I think Ole Miss. I think they have a better offense than Alabama. I think they can cover.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think
they play fast. They play really fast, and Corral is really athletic.
They could be down 30. They're still going to try to score.
Right. Yeah. I think the Florida game was the best thing to happen to Alabama, though. Florida in the second half came back, had a chance to basically win the game, out-physicaled Alabama, which is something not a lot of teams have done in the past 15 years. They made them look like shit. Bryce Young didn't look great in the second half. So, like, they did a bunch of things that I think might have woken up Alabama / given them the smack in the ass that Nick Saban always wants in the middle of the year, but very early. And they don't play Georgia. A&M's not as good. Auburn's not as good. LSU is, who knows? I don't think they're that as good either, though. Like, Ole Miss might be the next best team that they play on the schedule. So I like Bama to actually beat the shit out of Ole Miss this weekend. I think just because of Lane, Ole Miss is doing the whole thing of, like, instead of just shutting up, they're not. They're fucking talking shit all week in their interviews and saying, oh, we're not too worried about Alabama. It's like, you play for fucking Ole Miss. You should be. So I like Alabama to win big in this one. All right, let's move on to our cards. Ryan, you're going to go last. Or no, you go second. Zach, you go first. I'll go last. Now, guys, 2 point back out, though. Ryan is almost at plus 10 units. So if you're watching this, you might want to start tailing his picks. I mean, he's absolutely killing college football right now. So, Zach, start us off.
Yeah.
Well, you don't do it. You need to be dragging your nuts on everyone. You're almost plus 10 units in 4 weeks.
The minute I do that, I'm probably going to have an offer.
Okay. And then you'll be at plus 2 units and have a 10-0. No way. All right, Zach.
First play is going to be Iowa minus 3.5 at Maryland.
Weird Friday night game.
That game just seems spooky. I don't know. I don't know if I like it. Might be a bad line.
Texas minus 5.5 at TCU.
Like that.
North Carolina Duke over 70.5. I just want to see some points.
It's 71 now.
71 now, so I'll change that to 71.
Just to let you know.
Michigan money line against Wisconsin.
Don't understand that line at all, but go on.
I still don't get that one either. Arkansas plus 18.5. Obviously, I will back this play out if the quarterback does not play. Coastal Carolina minus 34.5. I think they play like Louisiana something.
Louisiana Monroe, yep.
Yeah, Coastal's, I mean, they've looked good all season pretty much offensively and defensively.
Yeah, they're good.
Boise minus 6.5 against Nevada. Next, I'm going to take Kansas State plus 10.5 versus Oklahoma. And I'm going to take Kansas State money line plus 350. Next play,
wow.
Penn State minus 10.5 versus IU.
Revenge game.
Yep. UCLA, I bought down to minus 3, so it's minus 124 versus Arizona State. Fresno State, I also bought down to minus 10 to make it minus 126 for Hawaii.
Wait, what'd you say Penn State was? Sorry.
Penn State was 10.5.
12.5 now.
Oh, did the line change now?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a huge jump, but it's still under 2 touchdowns. Yeah, okay.
Then I have my DOD.
All right. Ryan?
Purdue, Minnesota under 47.5. Both offenses stink. Memphis.
Both teams stink.
Yeah. That too. I don't understand how Minnesota only scores, 10 points against Bowling Green at home.
Yeah, that was so weird. They have like a 6-year quarterback and he threw like 10 times.
Yeah. Memphis minus 10.5 against Temple. Texas TCU over 65.5. Both offenses seem to be putting up a lot of points. Ole Miss plus 14.5 against Alabama. I just think I think Ole Miss has a good enough offense. I could see it being a 20, 21-point game late in the fourth, and they just score a garbage touchdown to cover. Ohio State Rutgers over 58.5. Ohio State's defense stinks, and I think Rutgers can put up some points, and we all know what Ohio State's offense can do. UCF minus 16.5 against Navy. This is probably one of the worst Navy's team of probably this century.
They're so bad.
They suck.
And UCF is pretty decent. SMU minus 20.5 against USF. Same words can be said for USF as I said for Navy. They're just awful. UConn plus 14.5 against Vanderbilt. I don't know why Vanderbilt should be favored by that much.
That might be the worst
they're both
college football game in the history of like the last 10 years.
You're probably right.
Dude, that is a bad football game.
I'm shocked
imagine
UConn still has a team. I'm shocked UConn still has a team.
I'm trying. You know, I want to know what the SEC wants to do with Vanderbilt. They're awful.
I want to know why Clark Lee left Notre
Yeah,
Dame.
but they'll keep that Nashville little hub.
I saw a stat. Georgia had more players score a touchdown last weekend than Vanderbilt had first downs.
Yeah, but I think Vanderbilt's good in like those Olympic sports and stuff. So like I know they suck at football, but they'll
basketball.
And so all right, go on.
Arkansas plus 18.5 against Georgia. Similar to what Zach said, I'll take it off. If I didn't know their quarterback was hurt.
Yeah, they haven't really said if he's playing yet.
BC, Clemson under 46.5. I really like it now that Phil Dracovic isn't playing, and Clemson's offense still sucks. So I could see this being like a 24-7, something like that game. And then USC, even though they laid an egg last week against Oregon State, Colorado's offense is trash. I'll take USC minus 6.5 against Colorado.
Did you say your locker?
No, I did not.
Thank you.
Good job.
All right. Here we go. Miami minus 5.5. Literally no reason. I just think Virginia's defense might be one of the worst in college football, and Miami can get like one stop at home. Derek King will will them in that game. Texas minus 5.5. Pitt minus 3.5. Michigan money line plus 100. Michigan plus 1.5. Then we're going to go – I'm going to ride with you guys. Arkansas plus 18.5. I just think that's too many points. I'm going to go with you, Ryan. I do like USC minus 6.5. Taking it under a touchdown is big. I think Colorado – I don't think USC is good, but I do think Colorado just is that bad.
Yep.
Then I'm going to go Notre Dame money line plus 100. Notre Dame plus 1.5. I'm going to go Alabama minus 14.5. Actually, scratch that. I will add the first half line when I can get it. So no Alabama play yet. Ohio State minus 14.5. Boise State minus 6.5. UCF minus 16.5. SMU minus 20.5. Army minus 7.5. Where is it? Rice minus 2.5. Then we got – no, don't want to say that. I'm going to ride with you. Clemson, Boston College, under 46.5. Zach, I'm riding with you. I think Penn State absolutely murders IU. I actually do think they will think of this as a true revenge game. Minus 12.5. I'm going to go – did you take the over on the UConn-Vandy game?
No, I took UConn on the points.
I might go that over, but I'm not too confident yet. All right, scratch that. Nothing there. And then – Hawaii, Fresno State over 65.5, and then my lock.
Am I doing my DOD first?
Yep.
All right, my DOD.
It's a big one.
Michigan plus 1.5.
I was going to say, if you're taking the money line, you're not adding that. All right, good. I like that pick. Ryan?
My DOD is Michigan money line.
Plus 100. Okay. They're going to get people like 50 now.
Are they
all on it.
Plus 100 now? Last I saw it was plus 106.
It's plus 100 now, money line. So I forgot to add this, but I like Liberty plus 1.5, and then my DOD is going to be Liberty money line plus 100. So we'll get these picks out. Like I said, start tailing Ryan. I mean, dude's killing it. Same strategy. Who knows? And if you guys do make him start losing, that's probably a good thing for everyone else. But all right,
hold on.
We'll get everything up.
I'm adding two more. Sorry.
All right.
Psychopath.
Florida State minus 4.5 against Syracuse, and Boise State minus 6.5 against Nevada.
All right.
Syracuse
okay, I'm gonna be honest. There's no way all your characters are gonna fit in one fucking tweet.
Florida State's the worst team in football. Wow.
This is when they turn it around tomorrow, Saturday.
Florida State needs to fire Mike Norvell and hire Deion Sanders. I mean, that is just like the easiest fucking solution in the world. But, all right, we'll be back next week. We'll be at the Notre Dame Cincy game this weekend. So if you see Ryan, yell one of his plays at him to jinx it, please.
Yeah, do it.
All right. Peace, everyone.
See ya.
Huh?